A brother's betrayal to frame Xander, and risked Beau's life in the process. The week of May 14th brings one of the most shocking betrayals Days of Our Lives has delivered in recent memory, a storyline built on deceit, jealousy, and a dangerous web of manipulation. At the center of this emotional storm is Phillip, whose insatiable greed and deep-seated envy lead him to commit a cold-blooded act that not only frames his own cousin but could also cost his own brother, Brady, his life. This isn't just about corporate espionage or sibling rivalry. This is about a man willing to endanger lives, including that of his own family, just to one-up a rival. And in Phillip's case, that rival is none other than Xander. A man who has spent years trying to prove himself worthy of love, loyalty, and legacy in the Kiriakis family. Phillip's move isn't just calculated, it's cruel, precise, and emotionally devastating. The plot to frame Xander, a dangerous game begins. It all begins with a conversation between Phillip and Kevin Lambert, a name longtime fans will remember from the Last Blast days. Kevin, the former high school science whiz, has now found himself working in a high-level research facility at University Hospital, possibly even under the supervision of Dr. Russell, the brilliant yet cautious mind behind the experimental sepsis drug, Versix. Phillip, seeing an opportunity, reaches out to Kevin. But this isn't a friendly reunion, this is manipulation in its most refined form. Phillip uses their old connection to convince Kevin to steal the drug from the lab. But stealing Versix isn't enough for Phillip. His goal is more insidious. He plans to plant the stolen drug in Xander's office, then tip Sarah off, ensuring that she accidentally discovers the drug and assumes Xander has done something unspeakable. This move is designed to accomplish two things: destroy Xander's credibility at University Hospital and potentially drive a wedge between Xander and Sarah, the woman both men have complicated feelings for. It's psychological warfare masquerading as a business maneuver, and it's about to spiral out of control. Why Versix matters: a race against time for Beau. Unbeknownst to Phillip at the time, the stakes are far higher than he could have imagined. Brady is gravely ill, fighting off a lethal bout of sepsis. The only hope? Versix, the very drug Phillip has orchestrated to be stolen and hidden as part of his twisted scheme. As Phillip smugly watches his plan unfold, Steve, Kayla, and Sean begin a desperate search. They break into Dr. Russell's lab, only to discover that every last dose of Versix is missing. For Beau, this isn't just a setback, it could be a death sentence. And for the rest of the family, it's the beginning of a nightmare. They know time is running out, and with the drug gone, Beau's chances of survival are plummeting. Back at the hospital, Sarah is blindsided. She discovers the vial of Versix in Xander's office, just as Phillip hoped she would. Confused and heartbroken, she confronts Xander, demanding answers. Xander, who had been planning to invest in the hospital's research program, is utterly stunned. He insists he had nothing to do with the theft, but Sarah's trust is already shaken. Xander's world collapses. Betrayal, suspicion, and heartbreak. The emotional weight of this moment cannot be overstated. Xander has worked tirelessly to shed his bad boy image and build something real with Sarah. Now, with one discovery, everything comes crashing down. Sarah, torn between her instincts and what's staring her in the face, pushes Xander to come clean. But there's nothing to confess, he's been framed, and he doesn't even know it yet. To him, this feels like another cruel twist of fate, a reminder that no matter how hard he tries, someone always finds a way to drag him back down. Meanwhile, suspicion runs rampant through University Hospital. Dr. Russell, furious and betrayed, demands answers. Kayla is left holding the bag, having championed Russell's research, and now finding herself in the middle of a scandal. EJ, who also had his eyes on Versix for Demera Enterprises, is incensed. He confronts Russell, furious over the drug's disappearance and eager to find the culprit. But no one, not even the keen-eyed EJ, suspects Phillip. That's the brilliance of Phillip's plan. He's positioned himself as the innocent bystander, quietly watching from the sidelines as everyone else burns. Kevin cracks under pressure, but not everyone can live with this kind of guilt. Kevin Lambert, far from being the hardened criminal Phillip hoped for, begins to unravel. The pressure mounts as investigators start asking questions, and Kevin's conscience gets the better of him. The idea that Brady could die because of his theft is too much to bear. Phillip tries to control the damage, but it's slipping through his fingers. Kevin's anxiety becomes visible. He makes mistakes. He talks too much. And soon, it becomes clear that someone's going to crack, and it might not be Xander. The fallout: how long before the truth comes out? By the time Friday's episode hits, the pieces are shifting quickly. Sean, Kayla, and Steve are grasping at straws, trying to source a replacement for the stolen Versix. The hospital is in chaos. Sarah, still uncertain about Xander's guilt, begins to dig deeper. She starts asking the right questions, and finds a few things that don't add up. And that's where Phillip's carefully woven tapestry of lies begins to unravel. As suspicion starts creeping in his direction, Phillip realizes too late what he's done. Not just to Xander, but to Bo. The brother he claimed to care about. The brother whose life is now hanging in the balance because Phillip wanted to win a power game. Will he come clean? Will Kevin break and expose the truth? Will Sarah believe in Xander before it's too late? And most of all, will Bo survive? Final thoughts: greed, guilt, and the Kiriaki's legacy. This week's Days of Our Lives is a sobering reminder that in Salem, no sin goes unpunished. Phillip's decision to steal Versix, not just for leverage, but to frame an innocent man, is a new low, even for someone with his checkered past. It's not just about Versix. It's about the rot in the Kiriaki's family legacy, the toxic brew of ambition, jealousy, and deceit that poisons every relationship in its path. Phillip didn't just risk Xander's reputation. He risked Bo's life, Kevin's integrity, and Sarah's faith in love. And now, as the dust begins to settle, we have to ask, is there any redemption left for Phillip, or is it already too late? For many in Salem, it's just another Monday. But for Johnny and Chanel, time feels like it's frozen. Stuck in the lingering tension and emotional wreckage of Friday's dramatic confrontation. The morning sunlight brings no relief from the darkness that's fallen over their marriage, and as the hours tick by, one question still hangs in the air like smoke from a gunshot: did Johnny shoot his father? It's Chanel who asks it, directly, without pretense, without evasion. And to be fair, it's a question that demands an answer. After all, Johnny has said time and again, sometimes in anger, sometimes in jest, that the world would be better off without EJ. You said more than once that you wished he were dead, Chanel reminds him, her voice quiet but firm, her eyes locked on his face. So now I need to know, did you do it? Johnny doesn't flinch. He's heard the whispers. He's seen the sideways glances. And most of all, he's wrestled with the possibility that even Chanel, his wife, might believe him capable of something so final, so violent. His reply is a mixture of candor and frustration. There's a difference, he tells her, between wanting someone dead and actually making it happen. While I believe the world might be better off without him, I swear I didn't pull the trigger. That raw honesty, biting, sarcastic, and just barely restrained, carries a truth that Chanel seems to recognize. No, she doesn't think he did it. Not really. But that doesn't mean Johnny's off the hook. There's still a mountain of anger simmering just beneath his surface, anger that needs to be confronted, understood, and, eventually, released. And Chanel, ever the pragmatic voice in his life, reminds him of that. You may not have fired the gun, she says, but there's a lot of fury inside you. You've got to deal with it before it consumes you. But just as the conversation threatens to peel back deeper emotional layers, Paulina sweeps into the room like a storm in heels. Her presence is a welcome distraction, part comic relief, part motherly concern, and the conversation quickly shifts to another near tragedy, Sarah's life-threatening run-in with contaminated Sweet Bits pastries. Paulina, in her typical no-nonsense style, cuts through the tension and even manages to land a sly joke about Johnny and Chanel's whirlwind 5-minute marriage. The levity is brief, but it offers a moment of much-needed emotional reprieve. Once alone again, the mood softens. Johnny opens up, apologizing once more, not just for the chaos of the past week, but for the toll it's taken on them both. He shares that he's begun therapy, a decision that feels like a first real step toward healing. He's also taken a new job at Titan Demera, hoping that purpose might keep his darker thoughts at bay and give him a new identity beyond the shadows of his family legacy. As he mentions extending his stay at the Salem Inn, a symbol of his isolation, his exile from the life he once had, Chanel offers a gentle yet hopeful nudge: "You should check out. It's time to go home." In that moment, her words are more than practical advice. They're an invitation, a pathway to reconciliation, a chance to rebuild what's been broken. She's not saying everything is fixed, or that the wounds aren't still tender. But she's saying something deeper: you belong with me. We'll get through this together. And in Salem, where family feuds and dramatic betrayals are a way of life, that kind of grace, a second chance, a door left open, is rare and precious.